Intelligence meeting with the Bay Real-Time Operations Center group, as well as analysts and investigators from Panama City and Panama City Beach, to look at what we're seeing, because we were not given a crystal ball to determine what is going to happen every weekend, but we work very hard trying to develop intelligence to try to get a sense of what we may be facing any given spring break period or any given weekend. And as you know, we've talked before about what's been advertised as a takeover weekend. Last year, during that time period that was also billed as a takeover weekend, we seized over 100 guns off the street in a 2-day period, and I think arrested about 150 people. So we've been working very hard to try to determine what may happen again this year. And through that intelligence, it's a little bit difficult to determine what's going to happen. But what we do know is what happened in Miami this past weekend with, I think, 2 shootings, 3 deaths, the Miami Beach community issuing a state of emergency and a curfew. Those are the kind of things that we feel and we saw last year potentially has the ability to drive more people to our area. So we want to be prepared for that. So I say that to say we don't know exactly what's going to go on this weekend. We do have some special events that have been advertised. A Panama City Beach takeover, Panamaniac 3, which is related to our situation last year. We're not seeing an extreme amount of traction on those social media posts, but we are watching those closely, and it does cause us concern. So what we're here to announce today is that preemptively, both the Bay County Sheriff's Office, the Panama City Beach Police Department, the Panama City Police Department are utilizing a statute that was supported by the governor last year, passed by the legislature, that creates our ability to designate special event zones. And so we are going to preemptively do that. We'll be advertising those starting Thursday. I'll let the chiefs talk about the areas that they're designated, but these are areas that we have historically had issues during these type of weekends. And what it allows us to do is post a certain area, designate an area as a special event zone, and it allows us to tow vehicles both for moving and non-moving traffic violation. It allows the doubling of fines. It allows law enforcement. Typically, if we have a situation where a building is over capacity, that really gets into us calling the fire department or code enforcement to come out and determine that. This statute allows law enforcement to determine if a building is over their designated capacity, and actually can shut down buildings when we have a situation where there's just too many people there for it to be safe. And importantly, it also allows us to recover costs that these events that are advertised via social media, recover the costs that we spend on public safety of taxpayers' money, recover those from the promoters of these events. So we are preemptively designating these areas, 3 or 4 areas in Panama City Beach, and in the county that will be special event zones. Now we will have to post those by Thursday in order for them to be in effect on Friday. But we will decide on whether or not, based on the circumstances, whether enforcement in those areas, whether we take advantage of these enforcement measures that we have. So in the county, this special enforcement zone is going to run from the 4-lane of Front Beach Road at Thomas Drive down to Laurie Avenue, and from there it will branch out across Laurie Avenue, across the lagoon, all the way to the Gulf, and then move west to the Panama City Beach city limits, where we will then, Panama City Beach has a zone that will encompass that area. But this is going to give us a lot of tools that we didn't have last year. It'll serve as a deterrent. We want people to come. We want them to have a good time. That's what our area is known for and what we want people to do. But when they start crossing the line and we see, mayhem and near riots and guns and things that, like what happened at Walmart last year, what happened on the streets last year, that's where we draw a line in the sand, and we're drawing that line in the sand together. We're making these decisions jointly and working together, and just simply not going to allow it to happen. So with that, I'll
safety, not only this upcoming week, but for obviously at any time during the year. All right, so let's talk about special event zones. We're going to have 2 specific special event zones in Panama City Beach. Okay, let's talk about the first one, the one on the west end of the beach. Let's talk about Pier Park. All right, so the special event zone will go from West Pier Park Drive to Hill Road, and incorporate everything north and south of that location. So if you were traveling anywhere on Back Beach Road, Front Beach Road, or in Pier Park, you are going to be in a special event zone. On the east end of the beach, or the special event zone on the east end of the beach will begin at Richard Jackson Boulevard, and then it will go east until the end of the city limits, and then we'll continue on to the county's special event zone. So from R. Jackson east to, let's say, Joan Avenue, right to the city to the county limits, that entire area will be a special event zone. That includes the area of Pineapple Willie, Shores of Panama, Lake Town Wharf, Front Beach Road area near Shipwreck LTD and Coyote Ugly, where the last shooting event occurred. Circle K, we all know how popular that gas station could be at times. It would also include that. Walmart on the east end of the city limits, it'll include that. All right. So once again, this law was put into place to help law enforcement deal with these specific issues. We know these specific issues have happened in Panama City Beach, and we intend to be able to use the full authority of this law to try to curb any unruly behavior. Like the sheriff said, we want you to come here and have a good time. But if you think that breaking the law is having a good time, you better find someplace else to do it.
Following the line of preparation that you've already heard discussed, Panama City Police Department will also enact 2 different special event zones. One will extend from the east side of the Hathaway Bridge, there at the flyover, all the way to Michigan Avenue on Highway 98. The second one will extend from East Avenue to Everett Avenue on Business 98 in the Millville corridor. So we will put out 2 special event zones. Like the sheriff had made the discussion, we're going in an abundance of caution, go ahead and act these zones, put them out, but whether we choose to enforce them will depend on how the people respond and how we have to respond to them. But we will, in an abundance of caution and preparation, we will be prepared, beefing up shifts, bringing in extra manpower, and enacting these zones. We're not going to be an area of tolerance to any of the law breaking that we've seen in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And again, the benefit of this zone is that it allows us to tow vehicles that commit a moving or non-moving traffic violation. So in other words, if somebody is pulled over for speeding or an illegal U-turn, or even some of the non-moving violations, some of the the low-speed vehicles that don't have the appropriate registrations and things of that nature, those vehicles can be towed and impounded for up to 72 hours. Fines for those violations can be doubled. Law enforcement can close down businesses that are above their capacity, as well as costs can be recovered from the promoters that promote this event online. So with that, we'll open up to any questions that you may have.
Could you talk a little bit about how it seems local law enforcement is working with agencies from surrounding areas to kind of bust people who are coming here to commit crimes? So
we do have some interdiction details that are working for people that are coming into here, and Chief Talamentez can talk to this, but they've had some meetings with some of the northern counties as well that already have produced some arrests. Chief, you want to address that?
Sure. Yeah, like we said before, our bad guys are dirt bad guys, and the people that are coming down here to commit crimes have to drive through their jurisdiction, so they are just as interested in and willing to try to intercept them before they get here. And our strategies are working. Our communication strategies, our networking strategies with law enforcement agencies, not only in Florida but in Alabama, has shown great results. We've arrested several people that were planning to come down here to commit the agencies that have helped us out. Thank you. I appreciate it, and they're going to continue to offer their assistance throughout the spring and summer season.
And Chief, while you're up there, are there any updates about the incident that happened this past weekend? Sure.
There was a isolated shooting event that occurred in the parking lot of a popular club/restaurant. These individuals were taken into custody quickly. It was over a dispute that happened inside of the business, but our cooperation with Panama City Police Department and Sheriff's Office, who were working mutual aid, right there in the area at the time of the shooting. It directly assisted in the arrest and apprehension of these idiotic individuals that wanted to shoot in the air in the parking lot. So it just goes to show you that you commit a crime, we're going to be right on top of it, and you'll end up in jail.
And also, I know that this happened so late at night. Will that also, do you think you guys will want to possibly implement a curfew, or how do you think that'll go for you guys? And then there was a mention of a possible fourth suspect in that as well.
Okay, so to your point of the specific shooting, there is a fourth person of interest. This investigation obviously is still ongoing. There's a lot of moving parts to it, and we will update you if an arrest is made on that fourth suspect. To the question about the curfew, I'll just turn that over to you, Sheriff.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's certainly a tool that we always have, is implementing a state of emergency or a curfew. That would be something that we do have some law enforcement powers to do in an emergency. We also would be working with our municipality, municipal government and county government to make those decisions. But that certainly is a tool that we have. But at this point, unless things get bad, we don't anticipate implementing that, because there's a lot that goes with that. People that are good law-abiding citizens are affected by that, so we don't take that lightly.
Thank you.
Were there any other incidents this weekend that kind of stemmed the three of you coming together to give this conference today, or is it just an anticipation for another busy spring break weekend?
Most of it is anticipation. I think that all of our agencies seized illegal guns off the street and had criminal activity related to those. But this is all driven by what we're seeing and gathering intelligence on what we may expect for the weekend. And obviously, a lot of it has to do with what we saw last year. We just want to be prepared. We can't predict what will happen. We're not saying that that those conditions that we saw last year are going to be the same this year, but we're prepared for it.
Are you worried there might be like an ongoing push to get spring break back to what it was pre-2015?
I think our community has moved on from that. It's a battle that we fought and won, and not going to let it happen again. And I think that the community, the business community, has really benefited from that, because we are a true family destination, and we've got right now we've got thousands of families out enjoying the beach right now, and thousands of college kids out enjoying the beach right now. So no, I'm not concerned that that's going to occur. I think our community has fought that and won, but we have to be vigilant.
And what's the message to the locals who might be a little bit on edge right now, just given what happened over the weekend? Just how hard you guys are working to make sure that they're staying safe?
Yeah, we've got the necessary resources out to address these issues. We're working together. We've got technology advantages here with the Bay Real-Time Operations Center. They'll be operational throughout the evening hours during this weekend and whenever else they're needed, using those resources to our advantage. So, I would tell people not to worry. Let us do the worrying. That's why my hair comes out in clumps, is from worrying, and I don't sleep anymore. But we're on top of it.
Anything
All right.
else?
No, thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
This is the sign.